Welcome back to Talk About It in English, where we build the real-life English you actually need. Today, we are going to permanently fix the most stressful, paralyzing question you will hear every single Monday. It is Monday morning, 8:50. You are standing at the office coffee machine. A friendly, native-speaking coworker walks up, smiles, and asks, "Hey, how was your weekend?" Instantly, you feel a wave of panic. Your brain tries to translate, "I had a minor plumbing emergency under the sink." You realize you do not know the vocabulary, and your whole body freezes.
I used to dread Mondays because of this exact moment. My mind would completely overload trying to translate my complicated weekend story, and I would just end up staring at my shoes and mumbling, "It was fine."
By the end of this video, you will have a 3-sentence framework to answer this question perfectly, and we will shadow the exact phrases together so they stay in your mouth, not just your head.
That coffee machine scenario is something every single language learner has faced. You walk into the office, you're just trying to get your morning caffeine, and suddenly you're pushed onto a stage. The lights are on you, you're expected to perform in English without any preparation, and the problem is not that you don't know any English. The problem is that your brain is trying to do too many complicated things at the exact same time.
Exactly. We call this the chronological trap. When your coworker asks about your weekend, your brain instantly switches back to your native language. In your native language, you are an adult with a complex life. You want to tell a story, so your brain creates a highly detailed timeline. You think, first I woke up late, then I realized the pipe under the kitchen sink was leaking, then I had to drive to the hardware store, but the store was closed, so I had to call a professional plumber, and it cost me a lot of money.
That is a fantastic, engaging story in your native language. But in English, especially at an intermediate level, that story is a minefield. You start trying to translate it word for word. You get to the word for plumbing and maybe you don't know it, or you don't know how to say hardware store. The moment you hit a missing vocabulary word, your brain crashes. You stop speaking. The silence stretches out. The coworker looks confused. You feel deeply embarrassed, and you finally just say something incredibly basic like, "My weekend was okay."
The most important thing you can learn about real-life English conversation is that native speakers do not actually want a timeline of your weekend. When they ask, "How was your weekend?" they are not asking for a detailed report. They are not asking for a minute-by-minute breakdown of your activities. They are simply building a conversational bridge. They are acknowledging you as a human being before the work week begins.
That is a massive relief when you finally realize it. You don't owe anyone the full truth of your complicated weekend. You just owe them a polite, smooth interaction. Fluency in this specific moment is not about knowing every single word in the dictionary. Fluency is about filtering your thoughts. It's about choosing the path of least resistance. You have to learn to stop translating the complex story and instead provide a simple, structured response that sounds completely natural.
To do that, we are going to build a 3-step framework. You can use this exact framework every single Monday for the rest of your career, and it will never fail you. Step 1 is what we call the anchor phrase. Step 2 is the single highlight, and step 3 is the deflection. We are going to break down each one, explain the psychology behind it, and practice the pronunciation together.
Let's start with step 1, the anchor phrase. When you're asked a question in a second language, your nervous system often goes into shock. Your heart rate actually goes up. You need a way to buy yourself 2 or 3 seconds of thinking time without standing there in total silence. The anchor phrase does exactly that. It's a short, simple sentence that sets the overall tone of your weekend.
You do not need 100 different ways to start this conversation. You really only need 3 strong anchor phrases. The first one is for when you did absolutely nothing special. You stayed home, you rested, maybe you did some laundry. You say, "It was pretty low-key, actually."
I love the phrase low-key. It's incredibly common in spoken English, but you rarely see it in grammar textbooks. Low-key just means quiet, relaxed, and not overly demanding. It carries a positive feeling. If you say your weekend was boring, it sounds negative. People might feel sorry for you. But if you say it was low-key, it sounds like you made a deliberate choice to relax and enjoy the peace and quiet.
Listen to the rhythm of that sentence. It was pretty low-key, actually. The word "actually" at the end is a fantastic tool.
It softens the sentence and makes it sound conversational rather than robotic. I want you to practice this out loud right now. Imagine you are standing in the office. I ask you, "How was your weekend?" You say, "It was pretty low-key actually." Go ahead and say it out loud.
Notice how the stress falls heavily on the word low-key. It was pretty low-key, actually. Saying this phrase out loud builds muscle memory in your mouth. When Monday morning comes, you will not have to search your brain for the words. Your mouth will just say them automatically, giving your brain time to calm down.
Now, what if your weekend was not quiet? What if you were running around doing a million different chores? Your second anchor phrase is, "It was surprisingly busy." This is a wonderful phrase because it adds a layer of emotion. The word surprisingly tells your coworker that you did not expect to be so tired today. It immediately makes you sound fluent.
The pronunciation of surprisingly can be a little tricky because of the R sounds. Let us break it down. Surprisingly. Surprisingly. Let us put it in the sentence. It was surprisingly busy. Say it out loud with me. It was surprisingly busy. When you use an adverb like surprisingly before an adjective like busy, you immediately elevate your English from beginner to solid intermediate.
And finally, what if you had a genuinely fantastic weekend? Maybe you went to a concert or you took a short trip. Your third anchor phrase is, "It was a great weekend, actually." Simple, positive, and direct.
You have your three anchors: low-key, surprisingly busy, or great. The moment the coworker asks you the question, you deploy one of these anchors instantly. You do not think about details yet. You just deliver the anchor. Once you have delivered the anchor phrase, the panic has usually stopped. The coworker is nodding. Now you must provide a tiny bit of evidence for your anchor. This brings us to step 2 of our framework, the single highlight. This is where most learners make their biggest mistake. This is where they fall back into the chronological trap.
Exactly. After you say your weekend was busy, your brain wants to list all 7 things that made it busy. You want to talk about the grocery shopping, the car repair, the family dinner, and the gardening. You must resist this urge. You must ruthlessly edit your weekend down to one single event. You must pick the single highlight.
And here is the secret that will change how you speak English forever. The highlight you choose does not have to be the most important thing you did. It just has to be the easiest thing to say in English. Let us go back to the story from the beginning of the video. Your sink was leaking. You had a plumbing emergency. Water was everywhere, and it was highly stressful. But if you do not know the vocabulary for plumbing, you absolutely do not talk about it.
If you spent 10 hours dealing with a broken pipe, but you also spend 1 hour watching a movie on Netflix, and you know the English words for watching a movie, then watching a movie becomes your single highlight. You filter out the complex reality and you choose the linguistic path of least resistance.
Your coworker will never know you're leaving out the plumbing disaster, and they don't care. They just want to hear a natural English sentence. To deliver this single highlight, we are going to use one of the most powerful sentence structures in conversational English. You are going to say, "I ended up," followed by an action verb ending in ing, and then the word mostly. For example, "I ended up watching movies mostly."
Let us look closely at the phrase, "I ended up." Why do we use this instead of just saying, "I watched movies"? When you say, "I ended up doing something," it implies a relaxed, unplanned transition into an activity. It sounds incredibly native. It shows that you are comfortable with the flow of the weekend. I ended up catching up on sleep mostly. I ended up doing some chores around the house.
The addition of the word mostly at the end of the sentence is another massive fluency secret. If you say, "I ended up cleaning my apartment," it sounds like a rigid statement of fact. If you say, "I ended up cleaning my apartment mostly," you soften the statement. You let the listener know that you did other minor things, but cleaning was the main event. It creates a highly natural conversational feeling.
Let us practice linking the anchor phrase with the single highlight. I want you to shadow me. We'll use the quiet weekend scenario. I will say the two sentences, and I want you to repeat them out loud, matching my rhythm and intonation. Ready? It was pretty low-key, actually. I ended up catching up on sleep mostly.
Let us do that one more time, really focusing on the smooth transition between the two sentences. You don't want a long, awkward pause in the middle. It was pretty low-key, actually. I ended up catching up on sleep mostly. When you string those sentences together, you sound entirely in control of the language.
Let us try the busy weekend scenario. Maybe you had to run all over the city doing errands. You do not need to list the errands, you just need the anchor and the highlight. Listen and shadow. It was surprisingly busy. I ended up running a lot of errands mostly.
If you're finding this breakdown of conversational strategy helpful, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our weekly frameworks. We are dedicated to giving you the exact phrases you need for real-life situations, so you never have to feel stuck in a conversation again.
Now you have successfully answered the question. You survived the initial shock, you gave a natural-sounding anchor, and you provided a single, easy-to-explain highlight. But the interaction is not over. If you stop talking now, there will be an uncomfortable silence. The coworker will stand there waiting for more. You have to pass the conversational ball back to them. This is step 3, the deflection.
A conversation is like a game of tennis. When the ball is hit to you, you cannot just hold it. You have to hit it back over the net. When a language learner feels insecure about their English, they often want the conversation to end as quickly as possible. So they say their piece, and then they freeze, hoping the native speaker will walk away. But that creates social awkwardness.
To keep the social interaction smooth, you must deflect the attention away from yourself and back onto the coworker. Most textbooks will teach you to say, "and you?" While this is grammatically correct, it sounds incredibly robotic. It sounds like a scripted dialogue from a beginner's classroom. Native speakers rarely say just, "and you," when standing at the coffee machine.
Instead, we're going to use a much warmer, more engaged phrase. You're going to say, "What about you? Did you get up to much?" This is a brilliant two-part deflection. The first part, "What about you?" shifts the focus. The second part, "Did you get up to much?" is a very common native expression that simply means, "Did you do many interesting things?"
Let us look at the pronunciation of "what about you," because connected speech is what makes you sound fluent. Native speakers do not separate these words. They do not say, "what about you." The T at the end of "what" becomes very soft, almost like a fast D sound. About, what about, what about you?
Try saying that out loud right now. What about you? It should feel like one single word rolling out of your mouth. What about you?
And now the second part. Did you get up to much? Notice the linked sounds again. Get up to much? Did you get up to much? It's a gentle, polite inquiry. It gives the coworker permission to talk about their own weekend, which takes all the pressure completely off your shoulders. You can just stand there, sip your coffee, nod, and listen. You have successfully navigated the hardest part of the conversation.
Let us shadow the entire deflection. I want you to say it with genuine curiosity in your voice. Imagine you really want to know what your coworker did. What about you? Did you get up to much? Say it out loud.
Perfect. Now we have all 3 pieces of the puzzle. The anchor phrase to buy time and set the tone, the single highlight to provide an easy filtered detail, and the deflection to pass the ball back and escape the spotlight. When you put these 3 pieces together, you have an invincible conversational shield. You will never have to fear Monday mornings again.
But understanding the theory is only half the battle. If you only understand this in your head, you will still freeze when the real moment happens. You need to build the physical muscle memory in your mouth. You need to experience the pressure of answering in real time. So we're going to build a coffee machine simulator right here, right now.
We are going to run through 3 different Monday morning scenarios. James is going to play the role of the chatty coworker. He is going to ask you the question. I will give you the scenario, and you must construct the 3-sentence framework and speak it out loud before I give you the model answer. You have to speak to the screen. Do not just think the words, say them out loud.
Scenario number 1. It's Monday morning. You had a very boring weekend. You stayed inside because it was raining, and you mostly just watched television. I'm walking up to the coffee machine. I see you. I smile. Hey, how was your weekend?
Say your answer out loud now. Use the low-key anchor, use the watching TV highlight, use the deflection.
Did you say it? Here's the model answer you should be aiming for. Listen and compare it to what you just said. It was pretty low-key, actually. I ended up watching television mostly. What about you? Did you get up to much?
Notice how smooth and effortless that sounds. It doesn't matter that you didn't explain the rain or the specific shows you watched. You provided a complete, socially perfect interaction. Let us move to scenario number 2.
In this scenario, your weekend was very busy. You had to clean the house, take the car to the mechanic, and go to the supermarket. Remember the rule, don't translate the list. Pick one easy thing. I'm walking toward you in the hallway. Morning, how was your weekend?
Say your answer out loud now. Use the busy anchor, pick one simple highlight from the list, deflect the question back to James.
Here's the model answer. It was surprisingly busy. I ended up cleaning the house mostly. What about you? Did you get up to much?
Think about how powerful that is. You completely avoided the complicated vocabulary of car mechanics. You ignored the supermarket. You chose the easiest verb you knew, cleaning, and you built a flawless English response around it. You are controlling the language. The language is not controlling you.
Let us do one final scenario. Scenario number 3. You had a wonderful weekend. You went to a beautiful park, you had a great dinner, and you spent time with friends. Again, do not list everything. Choose the easiest highlight. I sit down next to you at your desk. Hey, welcome back. How was your weekend?
Say it out loud. Use the great anchor. Highlight seeing friends. Pass the ball back.
Here is how a native speaker would deliver that response. It was a great weekend, actually. I ended up seeing some friends mostly. What about you? Did you get up to much?
If you can master this 3-sentence framework, you will dramatically reduce your anxiety at work or school. You will stop feeling like a deer caught in the headlights. You will stop mumbling one-word answers and staring at the floor. You will look your coworker in the eye, deliver your response with confidence, and smoothly transition into a comfortable conversation.
It is incredibly empowering when you realize that conversation is just a structure. It is not a test of your entire vocabulary. It is a game of rhythm and social cues. By using the anchor, the highlight, and the deflection, you are playing the game exactly the way native speakers play it. You are protecting your energy, simplifying your thoughts, and maintaining your confidence.
We want you to take immediate action on this so you do not forget it before next Monday. Your challenge today is to go down to the comments section right now and write your own personal 3-sentence weekend summary. Think about what you actually did this past weekend. Pick your anchor, choose your single highlight using the I ended up structure, and add your deflection.
Writing it down is the first step to making it permanent. Once you have written it in the comments, read it out loud to yourself 3 times. Commit to using that exact framework the very next time someone asks you about your weekend. You have the tools now. You can do this.
Thank you so much for practicing with us today. Keep shadowing, keep speaking out loud, and we will see you in the next episode to tackle another real-life conversation.